Zoom. It's the Graffiti Graveyard. Alright, what we got here is a Google Maps image. It's pretty far out, so we're going to zoom in a little bit. Right there is Highway 35. We can't get very close, but we're gonna back it up a little bit so I can show you whereabouts the Graffiti Graveyard is located. Right about here is where 7th Avenue West would be. The road doesn't actually go there. It's up higher. But it starts about there, and if we move this over a little bit, it's hard to tell from here where it ends. This is 3rd Avenue West. That's the farthest it might possibly go, but I think it's more around here, which is around 5th Avenue West. To get to the Graffiti Graveyard, you take Railroad Street and then hop on to the little bike path that runs underneath the highway, also next to the creek. And then once you're there, you'll be taking a little bit of a walk over these sharp, unforgiving stones until you come to a ledge, and you walk along that ledge until you turn a corner and find the Graffiti Graveyard. You climb up a little bit of a ladder until you're inside, and then you get started looking around.
Down here underneath Highway 35, you'll find what's called the Graffiti Graveyard. I don't know why it's called a graveyard, except that maybe everything looks dead. Everywhere you look, practically every square inch, almost every square inch is covered in graffiti. There's birds flying around, sometimes there's bats. There's a little canal coming through here too, and it just makes this whole place seem so, I don't know, unreal. It's located underneath Highway 35. In Duluth, you can do all sorts of stuff in a place like this because no matter where you look, there's something you can find. The two concepts I want to introduce to you this time are rack focusing and then just looking around you and establishing something that has dominance. Rack focusing, here's some examples. You start off looking with the focus on something close or far, and you change the focus slowly, sometimes quickly, to something far away without actually moving the camera. And it creates a feeling of movement without actually moving anything. It also changes the interest in the shot. Like for example, right here you see some sort of bush or some reeds sticking up, and then the focus changes to the doorway of the Graffiti Graveyard. As far as I know, there's only one way in and one way out of here, and it's through that doorway. Right behind me, actually. It looks like the light at the end of the tunnel because here's the graveyard and there's all this stuff. It's about a 1/4 mile long in here. That's what I found online. There's actually not much history that I could find online. I know that it's at least 6 years old. I found references to this place in people's blogs from 2004, but before that I couldn't find anything. I didn't do an exhaustive search, but it's at least that old. I'm guessing it's much, much older, looking at all the tags that are in here. If you're in Duluth and you have the time, I'd recommend coming down here. I'd want to be here with a friend though, because sometimes there are some shifty people around here. So you might want to watch out for that. But come on down, wear some closed-toed shoes, bring a camera, bring a friend, maybe a notebook, kind of write down what your favorite ones were, and then share it with your friends. It's a really neat place to come and visit. But one thing that I want you guys to do is pick a color. There's two colors right above me here. There's the red one and the blue one. The whole point of this series is to look at things in a way you haven't looked before. So what I'm going to do is get rid of all the other colors. Look at the red, okay? Now I want you to focus even more. So I'm going to blur everything else out but the red. You notice that all you can really see is the red now. However, if I bring everything back to the way it was, you all of a sudden have all these other things going on that can demand your attention. So what I want you guys to do is to go and find something, I don't care what it is, in a group of similar looking things. Pick out one thing and examine it, forgetting everything else around it. and find something more interesting that you've noticed before.